Medical scientists have just discovered a way to press the total rejuvenation button on your eyesight just by looking at this one simple arm movement done at a certain angle, and discovering a microscopic muscle that, when activated, makes your vision stronger and stronger without any dangerous laser surgeries, expensive eyeglasses, or weird and costly interventions. Scientists at the University of Michigan, Harvard, and Columbia University wanted to understand how this could be. And what they've now uncovered is proving to the world that the true culprit behind virtually all eyesight problems like short-sightedness, farsightedness, dark spots, cloudy vision, glaucoma, and even poor balance has little to do with our eyeballs and everything to do with the microscopic muscle that controls not only the strength of your arm, but also the strength of your eyesight. Hey, it's Jack Myers, by the way. And inside this very controversial presentation, which would probably make your eye doctor furious with you for just watching, not only will I share what this bizarre muscle is, but more importantly, I'll show you exactly how you can quickly and fully restore it, thanks to a powerful vision rebuilding technique developed by one of the world's leading neuroscientists out in Boston. This technique works no matter how long you've had poor eyesight, and regardless of if you've got things like glaucoma, AMD, cataracts, myopia, or presbyopia. And it's got nothing to do with eye exercises, AREDS2 vitamins, changing your diet, or $2,000 lasers, terrifying eyeball injections, prescription eye drops, contacts, or glasses. It's much simpler than any of that. And yet, the moment you begin using this vision rebuilding technique, you'll be blown away by the speed with which your eyesight becomes stronger. Distant and close-up objects alike will appear sharper and more defined. You'll no longer struggle to read text messages, books, magazines, street signs, or the words on your TV screen. Black spots caused by AMD will just disappear within weeks. Even your balance and peripheral vision will get better. And most importantly of all, once you start using the vision rebuilding breakthrough I'm about to share with you, not only will you once again enjoy a sharp and clear eyesight, but you'll also no longer have anxiety about driving or navigating through a busy place like the store or airport. And you'll no longer feel like an isolated prisoner who is cut off from the world due to their declining eyesight. Instead, you will be free and in control of your own destiny again. I know firsthand just how powerful this solution can be, as prior to discovering this vision rebuilding breakthrough, my fading vision and advanced AMD were a living nightmare. And it nearly destroyed many of the most important relationships in my life, including the bond I had with my 10-year-old granddaughter, Casey. I'll share more about that awful night when I accidentally humiliated her in front of hundreds of people. And of course, I'll also give you all the details on exactly what this vision rebuilding breakthrough is, so that you can begin using it for yourself right away, while joining the over 100,000 men and women across the United States who thought there was no hope for their dying vision, and who can now clearly and fully see the world, like Sandra in Dallas and Cameron in Vermont, along with Milton in South Dakota.
Over the years, I tried everything imaginable to help improve my eyesight, but my vision just kept getting worse. It was at the point where I could hardly read words that were right in front of me, and I had to zoom in on text messages from my family until the letters were gigantic. I was really worried about what would happen if my vision left me completely, and that's why I decided to follow the advice in your video. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, because today my eyesight has never been clearer or stronger. Thank you.
I'm a professional driver, so my eyes are really important to me. So when I had my night vision start to decline a few years back, it had me really worried. I even thought I would have to quit my job. But then I came across one of your videos. Now I see well at night and even better during the day. This must be kind of what LASIK feels like, except in your presentation, it didn't cost me thousands of dollars, and it was something I could start using immediately.
Words aren't blurry anymore. Contrasting lights don't bother my eyes anymore. And my prescription went from a negative 6.25 in both eyes to a negative 0.50 in my left eye and a negative 0.75 in my right eye. I went from being nearly legally blind to not wearing my glasses if I don't want to. It was an amazing difference. Thank you.
Those are just a few of the hundreds of amazing stories I hear from real-life folks each and every month. And now it's your turn to join them in the journey to crystal clear vision. So let's get started right now. You see, my vision problems all began about 10 years ago, right about my 50th birthday. At first, it was just little things though. Driving at night became a bit more difficult because stoplights were blurrier, and I found street signs harder to read. And when I watched TV, it became tougher to track the movement of a baseball or a hockey puck as it sailed across the screen. I also noticed that I was needing to zoom in more and more to read text messages and images on my phone. At first, I just chalked it up to getting older. And when I went to see my eye doctor, he gave me some prescription glasses that I could use when driving or looking at screens. And those things really helped for a while. But every year that followed, that doctor told me that my vision had just gotten a little bit worse. So I needed to up the strength of the prescription glasses just a tad. And after that fourth time that this happened, I couldn't help but feel worried because it was obvious that these glasses were simply a band-aid. And they weren't addressing the fact that my vision was growing weaker and weaker. Then the dark spots arrived. At first, I just noticed a few little black circles that were interfering with my field of vision. So I went back to my eye doctor, and he said it looked like I had age-related macular degeneration. He told me to take some specific vitamins and eat more leafy greens, so my AMD wouldn't get worse. Hopefully. That's not what happened, though. Those dark spots began to spread, getting bigger and blocking out more and more of the outside world. And to my horror, I found that my field of vision was becoming cloudier too. And there was this hazy yellow tint to everything. At this point, fear began to grip me tightly. The thought of losing my job due to my deteriorating eyesight was a constant, haunting worry. My livelihood, my financial security, my ability to provide for myself and my family were at stake. As dark spots in my vision were becoming more prominent, my eye doctor suggested monthly injections. The idea of a needle being inserted into my eyeball was terrifying. And I'm sure you can empathize, particularly if you're also struggling with less than perfect eyesight. Because the worst part isn't just the escalating need for stronger prescriptions to see both distant and nearby objects, or the hundreds of dollars you shell out each year on new prescription lenses, or the countless hours spent in the waiting rooms of eye clinics. The worst part is the dreadful feeling that your entire world is getting smaller. You become more and more isolated and alone. Your disappearing vision can make you feel so old too. And things like watching sports or admiring a sunrise, they all become pointless and meaningless without your sight. It's like there's this dark, blurry vacuum surrounding you. Can't help but worry about losing your independence entirely. If your family will trust you to run simple errands or to watch your grandkids, your worsening vision isn't just about not being able to see stuff as well as you used to. It's about that nagging feeling that the best days of your life are behind you. That's how it was for me, at least. You see, about a year ago, I found out that my 10-year-old granddaughter Casey had won a local art competition. And that, as a result, her painting was going to be displayed at one of the top art galleries in the entire city. I marked it down on my calendar right away. And when Casey's big day arrived, I woke up feeling so excited. And all day at work, I just couldn't stop bragging to my colleagues about how talented my granddaughter was. But then, just as I was about to finish up my work and head over to the gallery, my right eye started to bother me a lot. It felt extremely dry and sore, while my other eye was watering uncontrollably and stinging. Even my expensive eye drops wouldn't help. Moreover, when I tried to take a look around the room, I could barely see anything through all the burning sensation. It was like my vision had suddenly gotten worse in just one night. And the worst of it all, for the life of me, I couldn't find my glasses. I went around the house running my hands over the bed, tables, shelves, and chairs, like a blind mole rat, hoping the glasses would appear from somewhere, but with no success. And since the art exhibit was in a half an hour, I made the decision that I'd end up regretting for a long, long time, which was to go without my glasses, as there was no way I could get another pair in such a short time, and to just tough it out at the gallery, even though I knew I wouldn't be able to see. So that's what I did. I left my car at work and called an Uber to take me to the art show. But even that simple task was a challenge. I could barely make out the model of the approaching cars or the Uber logo, let alone identify the specific car that was supposed to pick me up. However, despite the disorientation and panic that came with moving around without my glasses, I managed to make it to the gallery. I was unable to read signs or make out faces in the crowd. I felt like I was navigating through a fog. But then, amidst the sea of hundreds of blurred faces, my granddaughter saw me and yelled out. She ran right up to me, her joyous energy cutting through my anxiety. She hugged me, and then she led me by the hand to where her painting was. Without my glasses, I couldn't make out any of the details, and the dark spots that sprinkled in my vision only made things worse. And so all I could do was lie to my granddaughter, telling her that I thought her painting was amazing and pretending to admire the details while making comments like, "You're so talented," and "I love the choices you've made," even though the truth was, I had no idea what I was looking at. It felt awful lying to Casey. So after looking at her painting, I decided to just camp out by the refreshment tables, so I'd be out of the way and could avoid having to talk to people about all the art I couldn't see. When suddenly, a blur of a woman walked up to me. She introduced herself as Casey's teacher and asked me to take her to see my granddaughter's painting. Of course, I couldn't actually see Casey's painting, but I knew where I was standing when I saw it, so I walked them right over there. And when we got there, they all oohed and awed, talking about how beautiful her artwork was. Soon more and more people were coming over and admiring the painting. And for a minute, I was feeling like the best and proudest grandpa in the world. Until, that is, Casey came running up to me and pulled me away from the crowd. Then, her voice shaking, she said, "Grandpa, what are you doing? That's not my painting. That's Sophie's painting, and I hate her." Of course, Sophie was the girl who had previously bullied my little Casey. And when I looked at Casey, I saw the look of betrayal on her face. But before I could explain what had happened with my glasses, Casey's face scrunched up, and she ran off in tears for the rest of the night. Casey didn't say a word to me. And when I called her the next day to apologize again, she just kept saying that she couldn't believe that I'd lied to her and that she couldn't trust me anymore. I felt truly awful. And I also felt really damn mad. I mean, I'd spent thousands of dollars on eye doctor appointments, glasses, and contact lenses over the years. Yet my eyesight kept getting worse and worse, isolating me from the world and the people that I loved. It was hard for me to accept it. Was there really nothing I could do for my vision? And so I did what most folks of my generation would do. I rolled up my sleeves and I got to work, spending endless hours on my computer, researching everything I could about declining vision and how it could be fixed. It was slow going at first, to be sure, especially since I had to zoom every single web page to 300% just to be able to read the words comfortably. And pretty much all of the information I came across repeated the same tired and boring advice about taking vitamins, eating more vegetables, or visiting an eye doctor. Part of me wanted to give up, but every time I was just about to wave the white flag, my mind would go back to that art gallery. And I remembered how I'd felt so helpless in that sea of blurry faces, and how I'd humiliated my granddaughter on her big night, which would inspire me to keep going. So I changed tactics. And instead of researching why our vision declines, I decided to look into how our eyesight works in the first place. And it was precisely this that led me to the vision rebuilding breakthrough that would ultimately restore my dying eyesight to nearly 20/20 levels, while helping tens of thousands of Americans to do the same. So please, pay extra close attention to this next part. You see, the way vision works is that whenever you see an object, what really is happening is that the light is reflecting off that object and then entering your eyes, where the light is turned into an electrical signal, and that signal then gets sent to a part of your brain called your visual cortex, which turns the signal into an image that you see. This image might help you visualize what I'm talking about better. This is also why we can't see very well in the dark, by the way. Because when less light reflects off objects, the signal being sent to your brain is weaker. And as soon as I learned all of this, I couldn't help but wonder, if it's our brain that's responsible for turning the world around us into images, then why do all the vision solutions that get pushed on us only focus on our eyes? I just couldn't understand. So I reached out to my nephew Ben for some help. You see, Ben is a big shot neurosurgeon, and he teaches at one of the most famous universities in the world out in Boston. And since all of the research I'd uncovered kept proving that our declining vision starts in the brain, my hope was that maybe Ben would be able to shed some light on my discovery. When I got Ben on the phone, I launched right into everything, explaining all of the research I'd been doing about how vision works and how all the signs pointed to something happening in the brain. I told him how I'd come across the new research from places like Columbia University, the University of Utah, and Rutgers University, all saying that for virtually every form of vision loss imaginable, the real culprit has very little to do with weak or damaged eyes, and everything to do with these microscopic brain muscles. Then, I emailed him the image I shared with you a minute ago. I told him I couldn't seem to figure out exactly where those microscopic muscles were on the diagram. Uncle, this image you sent me does not show the microscopic muscles. Those are a very special type of glutamate receptor. These glutamate receptors are a type of protein found in the neurons in your brain, and their job is to receive the signals that your eyes are sending to your brain, and then route them to your visual cortex, where they can be turned into images that you see. Without these glutamate receptors, your visual cortex stops receiving all the signals that your eyes are sending. Ben likened the glutamate receptors to little switchboard operators in your brain. They receive signals from your eyes, then dispatch those signals to the exact place in your visual cortex where they're needed. Here, take a look at this image again. You can actually see where the glutamate receptors that are responsible for sending signals to your visual cortex are located. And as you can probably tell just from looking at this picture, that if something was to stop those receptors from sending signals to your visual cortex, then it would be physically impossible for your brain to turn those signals into images that you could see, right? Well, guess what? Ben told me that there are a shockingly large number of scientific studies from places like MIT, Emory University, the Mayo Clinic, and others, all saying that this is exactly what happens when our vision declines. At the start, it might just be a few glutamate receptors that stop working properly, but you've got billions of them in your eyes, so it's not a big deal, and you may hardly notice. Over time, though, as more and more receptors are deactivating and stop working, it means fewer and fewer electrical signals are making their way to your visual cortex. And you can find yourself losing your vision altogether as both nearby and faraway objects become blurrier and blurrier. And according to Ben, when it comes to age-related macular degeneration, where an increasing number of black spots appear in your field of vision, researchers at the University of Utah have found that those black spots are really missing information, where the signals aren't making it to your visual cortex. So instead of seeing a complete picture, parts of the world become blacked out from your view. Actually, world-renowned researchers from places like Rutgers and Columbia University have also found that these deactivated glutamate receptors are responsible for cataracts too, while vision experts at the University of Pennsylvania have published research showing that switched-off glutamate receptors are also the #1 cause of glaucoma. In all of these cases, dark spots in your eyes, yellow clouds, a narrowing field of vision where you can't see objects to the sides, short-sightedness or far-sightedness. Study after study show that weakened glutamate receptors are the culprit. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'd never even heard of glutamate receptors before, and after Ben had finished explaining everything to me, I found myself grappling with two questions. Number one, what causes our glutamate receptors to weaken in the first place? And number two, what, if anything, could we do about it? That's when Ben explained that while aging and lifestyle choices can deactivate some of our glutamate receptors, the primary reason is the amount of time we spend indoors. Indoors, I asked. Yes, Ben replied. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that your vision seems better when you're outside on a bright sunny day, and that it seems to worsen instantly when you go inside? On a bright, clear day, the sun emits 100,000 lux, the unit used to measure brightness. Our eyes are designed to see objects more easily in brighter light, and our vision worsens in lower light. This is why our vision is generally better when we're outside in the sun. But what does this have to do with our glutamate receptors? I asked, still trying to connect the dots. Ben had the answer. He said that while the sun emits over 100,000 lux when you're inside, even if you're sitting directly by a window, the light drops to 25 lux. That's more than a 99% drop from the brightness outside. That's a huge difference. And today, we are constantly in environments where there's significantly less light entering our eyes. Think about what happens when you leave a well-lit room and walk outside on a bright sunny day. You immediately squint, or at the very least, you blink and half close your eyes, until you can put on sunglasses or your eyes adapt. That's because it's significantly brighter outside than inside. Ben paused for a moment, letting the information sink in, then continued. And this matters because we're spending more time indoors than any generation before us. We work in offices, stay inside during extreme weather, and spend hours on screens. We put on sunglasses the moment we step outside. As a result, we're getting less light to our eyes than ever, and this is damaging our vision. Less light means fewer and weaker signals being sent from our eyes to our glutamate receptors. And just like any muscle in the body, when your glutamate receptors are continuously underused, they become weak and shriveled and can eventually shut down entirely. Ben went on sharing some startling statistics from the National Eye Institute showing that nearsightedness has increased by 66% in America since the early 1970s. In places like China, where children spend hundreds of additional hours per year inside classrooms compared to the US, as much as 90% of the children are nearsighted by the time they reach the age of 18. But it's not all bad news, Ben said. Shifting gears, take the Himba people of Namibia, for example. They have almost superhuman vision and virtually zero vision loss into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. They spend virtually their entire lives outside, taking in sunlight, which means their glutamate receptors never grow weak and die. He mentioned other tribes with exceptional vision, like the Moken people of Myanmar and Thailand, vision who is staggering 200% better than Europeans, and the Maasai people in southern Kenya, known to have the best eyesight in the world. But it's not genetics, Ben clarified. It all comes down to how much time these native tribes spend outside compared to the rest of us. You'll never see a tribesman wearing sunglasses. Natural light floods into their eyes day after day, their glutamate receptors active and strong, and ensuring their vision is crystal clear for as long as they live. Their eyesight is so good, they can even see for hundreds of feet underwater. And it's not just that these tribes have been gifted with incredible eyesight, Ben said. In fact, studies have found that when native tribes became more modern, their eyesight problems exploded. He paused, then said, like the Aboriginals in Australia, for example. They were once renowned for their eagle-like vision, but now they have horrendous rates of blindness that they never had before, especially as they reach middle age. I was taken aback. It was a sobering thought to think how much impact our modern lifestyle has on something as fundamental as our vision. It made me realize just how much we take our eyesight for granted and how crucial it is to take care of it. So it's not genetics, Ben reiterated. It all comes down to how much time these native tribes spend outside compared to the rest of us. This constant exposure to natural light keeps their glutamate receptors active and strong. And this, in turn, ensures their vision remains crystal clear for as long as they live. But don't run outside and start staring at the sun, Ben said, half joking. Your glutamate receptors have become seriously deconditioned. That would be like trying to run a marathon without ever having run around the block, or hitting the gym with Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime when you've never lifted a weight in your life. Your body wouldn't know how to manage this kind of activity. And this brings us back to your second question, Ben said. What can we do about this? If it's our weakened glutamate receptors that are responsible for all of our vision problems, then it seems pretty obvious that if we want to fix those problems, the number one thing we can do is find a way to rebuild those receptors, in the same way you would a muscle. I was following his train of thought, and it all made sense. But again, Ben continued, spending more time outside is not the answer. The damage has been done for too long. Maybe that would have worked 20 years ago, but not now. Also, those eye-strengthening exercises and AREDS2, a vitamin regimen that's supposed to support eye health, were not designed with glutamate receptors in mind. Once Ben had finished explaining everything to me, he let out a deep sigh. As well-versed as he was in the anatomy of the brain and the intricacies of how vision works, understanding the biology of vision wasn't really his specialty. I could hear the frustration in his voice mirroring my own. We were so close to understanding, yet the solution seemed just out of reach. However, he was determined to reach out to some of his colleagues who specialized in both neurology and ophthalmology, and then reach out to me when he had some new insights. After 1 month, just when I was about to lose hope, Ben finally called me, and his voice was brimming with excitement. I've made some significant discoveries. And Uncle, I believe we found a solution. It turns out that there are actually a very few special compounds that have been proved to strengthen and rebuild the glutamate receptors. For example, there's L-glutamate, which is also sometimes referred to as L-glutamic acid. L-glutamate is what's known as an amino acid. And as you may have learned in one of your science classes back in high school, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And considering that's what glutamate receptors are, proteins, you might think that getting L-glutamate and your glutamate receptors together would be a good idea. And you'd be exactly right, because in study after study that I found, researchers have proven that when the right form of L-glutamate travels to your brain, it heads directly to those glutamate receptors, where it immediately begins to supply them with the building blocks they need to once again become strong. And when that happens, the results are nothing short of spectacular. Ben continued breathlessly. For example, in a 2017 study conducted by 17 leading vision experts in the world, including several doctors from Harvard, they looked at levels of L-glutamate in 396 humans and found that those who had more of this crucial amino acid were significantly less likely to suffer from advanced age-related macular degeneration. And those findings were backed up by an even more recent study from 2021. That was done by an additional 13 Harvard scientists, where scientists found that L-glutamate helps the human eye to see colors more vividly and to have better vision in the dark. And those are just a few of the hundreds of studies, by the way. There's research about this published in Cell, which is one of the most well-respected scientific journals in the world. And it's one of the hottest research topics at the University of Bristol in the UK, which is the home of 9 Nobel Prize winners. One important thing to note, though, Ben continued, is that you're not going to get this L-glutamate into your brain from changing up your diet. And even most supplements that have L-glutamate won't do you any good, because the big key is getting L-glutamate to cross what's called the blood-brain barrier, which is a term we scientists use to describe the protective network of cells and blood vessels that surround our brain. But the short version is that your body is very picky about which nutrients it allows to reach your brain. So if you want to supply your glutamate receptors with the building blocks they need to become strong again, you've got to get them L-glutamate, but it has to be a very specific form. We can talk more about that in a second. But first, let me share another essential nutrient called choline. You might have heard about it before and how it can play a very important role in human health. But what you probably didn't know is that there's only one form of choline that's found naturally in the brain. And that form is called alpha-GPC. This form of choline is like a super nutrient for your brain. But what's even more exciting is how alpha-GPC can help heal your eyesight. For example, at McGill University, which is like Canada's version of Harvard, scientists found that alpha-GPC strengthens glutamate receptors and that this leads directly to better vision in humans. Another major study from researchers at Duke University and Berkeley backed up those findings. And a major 2022 study published in the Journal of Ophthalmology found that alpha-GPC drastically improved cataracts in 20 patients, while in a study from one of Europe's most respected research institutions in Bologna, Italy, they found that alpha-GPC drastically improved vision in 90 days in the humans who were given a very specific amount each day. It's really impressive. And alpha-GPC is even more effective when you combine it with huperzine A, which is a special compound that comes from a unique moss called Huperzia serrata that only grows in a few parts of Asia. This moss has been used medicinally in the East for many centuries, but scientists were only able to extract huperzine A from the moss in the 1980s. And what they found in study after study is that huperzine A stops alpha-GPC from breaking down in the brain, which is extremely important if you want your eyesight to work perfectly, since remembering alpha-GPC is a key compound that strengthens your glutamate receptors. So the more of it that you have staying in your brain, nourishing and strengthening those receptors, the better your vision is going to be, and the sharper and more focused objects will appear, regardless of if they're far away or close up. Really think about it, Uncle, Ben continued, a note of triumph in his voice. Since these glutamate receptors really are the key to healthy vision, what's so cool is that when you target them and make them stronger, you can fix such a wide host of issues from cataracts and glaucoma to near and short-sightedness. Heck, even your balance will be better because we all know how related that is to eyesight. It's almost like you've got entirely new eyes. Make those glutamate receptors stronger and your vision becomes stronger too. Well, hearing all of this from Ben, I started growing really excited. And he still wasn't done. Because in addition to L-glutamate, alpha-GPC, and huperzine A, Ben said another incredible compound backed by research was L-tyrosine, an important amino acid that supports numerous neurotransmitters in our brain, including those that are responsible for sending electrical signals from our glutamate receptors to our visual cortex. In major research published in the highly respected journal Experimental Eye Research, scientists found that L-tyrosine could help people beat their macular degeneration. Then Ben told me that we'd want to balance these compounds with two very important forms of B vitamins, B6 and niacin, since, in the right form, they were like superconductors for neurotransmitters and would help to send electrical signals to the right part of our brain. Then Ben said we'd want to add a unique form of an amino acid called D-aspartic acid, because this special nutrient was shown to help proteins be absorbed more efficiently. which meant when it was combined with those other compounds he'd mentioned, it could open up the gates of our glutamate receptors and let those vision rebuilding nutrients flood in. And then Ben told me that we'd also want to add in another essential amino acid called taurine, as well as something called Coleus verscoli extract, a tropical plant that is used in many powerful pharmaceuticals. In a major clinical trial with 90 men and women who were age 51 on average and who had glaucoma, Coleus verscoli was found to improve vision and reduce pressure in their eyes by 17% after just 6 hours. And the longer they took it, the better their eyesight became. Then, finally, the last compound was an alpine plant called eyebright, which has been used to treat eye infections for thousands of years by people across the world, as it is a powerful anti-inflammatory that's been shown to reverse the damage done to glutamate receptors due to underuse. After hearing about all these potential ingredients, it felt like only a genius like my nephew could pull something like this off. Uncle, I truly believe we can create something here that can help restore the vision of millions and millions of men and women across the US. No matter their age, no matter how long they've been struggling with poor eyesight, no matter if they've got glaucoma or cataracts or AMD, we can get right to the root of all these problems in a way that's never been done before. And because I was just as excited as Ben was, we agreed to work together to create the perfect combination of these vision strengthening compounds. One where each ingredient was in the right dosage and where each compound was in a form that could cross the blood-brain barrier and travel right to your weakened glutamate receptors, to give them a surge of new restorative nourishment, making them strong and powerful again, so that the signal between what your eyes see and what makes it to your brain no longer gets lost in translation. It wasn't easy by any means. It took several weeks to source the purest forms of each compound. We had to make sure they were high enough grade and that they could cross the blood-brain barrier. Then we had to figure out the right way to mix all the compounds together in the right quantities and volumes. It took months to do it right. Ultimately, we tested 55 different formulations until we hit the perfect combination. And while there were times when both of us wanted to give up, finally, after all of this hard work, I was holding our creation in my hand, in the form of a highly concentrated and ultra-absorbable dropper, and I couldn't help but feel a combination of both nervousness and excitement, because after trying literally everything else imaginable to help fix my eyesight, all I could do was pray that this would work. I knew it should too, because nothing else like this had ever been created, and based on the science, this was the most advanced vision restoring solution available anywhere. All I had to do was take one full dropper in the morning. I could pour it directly into my mouth or put it in my coffee, tea, or any beverage I want. After the first 48 hours, I didn't notice a huge difference, but I'd been mentally prepared for this to be the case, because the glutamate receptors in my brain that were the key to sending electrical signals to my visual cortex had been neglected and starved for decades. So of course it wasn't like there was going to be some miracle remedy that instantly made my vision 20/20. I was patient. I kept taking one full dropper with these special compounds every morning. Sure enough, with each week that followed, more and more of the world came flooding back to me. It was subtle at first. I'd be reading a text message from a friend and realize that I hadn't zoomed in. Or I'd look down at the label on a food item while in my kitchen, and I'd realize the words weren't so blurry. And as time continued, the improvements in my vision just became impossible to ignore. Before long, it wasn't just close-up objects that I could see well. Distant objects were appearing sharper and clearer than they had in years. Even at night, I found that I could read street signs with no issues, and lights were no longer blurry. The dark spots that had haunted my field of vision for years were simply fading away. The yellow fog that had long seemed to cover my eyes was lifting. Even my balance grew better, and I noticed I was able to walk and move with so much more grace and confidence. It wasn't that long until I stopped wearing my contacts and glasses entirely. That was the best feeling in the world. And the whole process was so simple and convenient. I mean, I literally just had to swallow one full dropper and my eyesight got clearer and sharper. And what's even more amazing is that I'd achieved all of this with a completely natural solution, free from harmful chemicals or side effects, and without spending thousands of dollars on painful injections or eye-burning lasers. But now, A few months later, an entire universe of possibilities had opened back up to me. Driving, texting, seeing the smiles and expressions on the faces of those I loved. I was once again a normal, happy human being. And the best part of all is what happened a few weeks later when I went to go visit my granddaughter Casey. Because not only could I see every detail of her angelic young face in a way I hadn't been able to since she'd been born, but I was finally able to take in every single fine brushstroke of her painting from the gallery, which was now displayed proudly in the family room. It was such a beautiful piece of art. And when I described what I saw to Casey in a way that made it undeniable that I really knew what I was looking at, that smile on her face and the huge hug she gave me, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. And that's when I knew I couldn't keep it for myself, considering the countless Americans who were dealing with poor eyesight and how that number was growing larger every day. So Ben and I tried to find the best manufacturing company we could to help us get these vision-strengthening compounds out there and respect the very strict requirements of how these ingredients should be mixed. We also began reaching out to people who had posted in online forums about troubles with their vision, and we included all types of issues from short or nearsightedness to glaucoma, AMD, and cataracts too. Our goal was simply to find volunteers to try out our discovery, and the response was overwhelming. People were eager to try out these vision-rebuilding compounds, and the results were astounding when they did. One woman, named Angela, shared,
"I was nearly blind, and I didn't know what to do about it. I actually got LASIK 15 years ago, and while it was great at first, after about 10 years, the effects wore off. My vision became blurrier and blurrier, and I had cataracts in both my left and right eyes. They said I couldn't do LASIK again, and even if I'd been a candidate, I couldn't have afforded it. Meanwhile, glasses and contacts were no longer enough. I thought I was going to be alone in this darkness forever, but these compounds, the formula you shared, changed everything. My eyesight has not been this good since I was a little girl. Thank you."
Honestly, I'm just really surprised at how well this worked. My vision wasn't that bad before. It was like -3.5 in my left eye and -2.75 in my right eye, which isn't that bad. It's like middle of the road. But that meant I was spending hundreds of dollars per year on contacts and glasses, but not anymore. I mean, I was at the eye doctor last week, and I've been using your product for like 3 months now. And when I was at the eye doctor, he said my vision was close to 20/20. I mean, he was surprised, to say the least. I was surprised as well. But that's amazing. That's just amazing. And now he's asking me if he can use your product and share it with all of his patients.
As my vision got worse, I noticed how my family was treating me differently. My adult children would caution me and chastise me about driving at night. They didn't seem to want to let my grandkids stay with me. They acted and treated me like I was a feeble old woman, and it drove me nuts. It made me mad. But they weren't entirely wrong doing that. Everyday tasks like cooking or reading emails or even navigating the grocery store aisles have become very hard. Thanks to your formula, though, those worries are all in the past, just memories. Just seeing the world clearly, it's amazing. Not only do I enjoy every day of my life more, I can honestly say I feel younger too, because my poor eyesight is no longer holding me back.
We were thrilled to hear these testimonials, and we couldn't be more proud to introduce you to this vision rebuilding breakthrough. We called it EyeFortin, the ultimate formula for those who have been struggling with any form of poor eyesight or declining vision. This powerful formula is designed to quickly and easily rebuild the weakened glutamate receptors. And from the moment you start using it, you'll notice an incredible transformation taking place. In a matter of just a few days, you'll observe subtle but clear differences in the way you see the world, with objects and the words becoming less blurry, no matter if they are far away or close up. Your cloudy vision being wiped away. The black spots and circles that wreck your vision will be disappearing. It will be as though the whole world is slowly coming back into beautiful focus. A world that's full of possibilities, because your fading vision no longer makes you feel isolated or alone. Simply pour one full dropper directly into your mouth or add it to any beverage of your choice. And that's all it takes to replenish and restore your vision. We use only the purest ingredients in this vision rebuilding breakthrough, Every ingredient is tested and certified for purity by third-party labs to ensure the highest quality. This means this breakthrough doesn't contain toxins like poisons or harmful metals. And it's made with love and attention to detail in a state-of-the-art facility that follows all the rules set by the FDA and adheres to good manufacturing processes, GMP. This vision rebuilding breakthrough is also proudly made in the USA. Honestly, it's no wonder that since we released it to the public, it has been hard to keep in stock. In only 4 months, we've sold over 107 bottles, and that number is climbing every day. People all over the USA whose vision has been fading, blurring, or turning to black finally have an all-natural solution that works. And they're telling their friends and family too. But with such high demand, it's only a matter of time before we run out. And since our premium natural ingredients come from across the world, including remote alpine regions and unspoiled forests of Europe and Asia, restocking will take us a long time. That's why it's crucial that you place your order for as much of this vision rebuilding formula as possible right now. The last thing we want is for you to interrupt your treatment before your vision has been fully restored. Because in that case, all that's going to happen is that those glutamate receptors that control your vision will go right back to withering away. In fact, from what we've seen and what our customers tell us, the best results are seen when someone uses this vision rebuilding breakthrough for at least 180 days. This gives you the best chance at 20/20 vision, while ensuring that the receptors in your brain stay strong for years and years to come. Don't let your dying eyesight win. Make sure to secure your supply today and say goodbye to the frustration and isolation of poor vision. We've gone to great lengths to ensure that the vision rebuilding formula is affordable to every American who needs it. After handpicking the best ingredients, negotiating production, and keeping costs low, I'm proud to offer this game-changing breakthrough at the lowest possible price. You'll never have to spend your hard-earned money on another pair of overpriced glasses or uncomfortable contact lenses again. And you can say goodbye to $2,000 laser surgeries and $1,500 eye injections that most eye doctors want to push on you, even when the results aren't even close to being guaranteed. This vision rebuilding breakthrough is only available on this website, and only while supplies last. We never want to go big with this solution and produce it on an industrial scale because we know that would simply lower the quality. We will only make as much as we can keep an eye on. So, if you see this vision rebuilding formula anywhere other than this website, know that you are not getting the real deal. We will never sell on Amazon, eBay, or Etsy because we will simply never be able to ensure proper quality control if we go that big. This breakthrough can restore your eyesight now and keep it sharp and vivid for years to come. You can say goodbye to the expensive Band-Aid prescriptions that merely cover up the reality of your fading eyesight. And instead, you can ensure a near-perfect field of vision day after day. Enjoy life as you no longer fumble for your glasses just to read something on your phone or in a book or magazine, and experience the relief that comes from feeling confident behind the wheel when you're driving at night, or the pleasure that comes from watching live sports or your favorite reality show on TV and being able to see every detail of what's happening. Just think of how great it will be to feel like your old self again and to see the smiles and joy on the faces of those you love. Wouldn't that make you feel so much more connected to the friends, family, and even strangers? When you invest in this vision rebuilding breakthrough today, you'll pay less than you would for a 15-minute doctor's visit, excruciating diagnostic procedures, laser treatment, and prescription lenses. Plus, when you consider the fact that there's only one facility in the world that meets our quality control expectation, that each bottle contains the purest and most potent form of these ingredients on the planet, today's special low price is a bargain if you ask me, because it's not about making money. This is about rebuilding and restoring the vision of not just me, but all the other people such as you who are tormented and frustrated that the world is fading away from view and who worry that if they don't do something soon, they'll end up even more isolated and alone. That's why I have negotiated hard to bring you this solution for as little as $1.50 a day. That's right. For our most discounted package, you will spend less than $2 a day to say goodbye to poor eyesight forever. But this special discounted package is only available today on this webpage and while supplies last. It's the biggest discount we've ever offered, and we're only doing it because we know what a difference this will make in your life. For 6 bottles of this vision rebuilding breakthrough, you'll invest only $49 per bottle, And this is the right quantity to truly and totally regain your vision as you rebuild those weakened glutamate receptors and make sure they stay strong forever and that your eyesight never declines. And if you choose your package right now, you will risk absolutely nothing because we want you to be certain that this vision rebuilding breakthrough is right for you. We offer every single person a 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. That means you have a full 60 days to test drive this vision rebuilding breakthrough for yourself. I know you'll be thrilled with the results, but if for any reason you're not 100% satisfied with your order, simply contact our friendly support staff, send back all the bottles, even if they're empty, and they'll issue a refund. You know what? If you buy our 6-bottle package and your eyesight is restored quicker, feel free to send us back the bottles you haven't used, and you'll get your money back for every single one of them. Even though, if I were you, I would save them for my friends or family. That is how confident we are that this solution can do wonders. To put it simply, if for any reason you are not thrilled with our solution, you pay nothing. If your vision is restored quickly and you still have some unused bottles left, we will give you back the money for them. That's just how I believe business should be done. Either you love our product or you don't pay a dime. And because you're covered by our 60-day no-hassle money-back guarantee, why not take advantage of our 6-month highly discounted package? It really is the smartest option. I mean, you're protected either way. If you love this vision rebuilding breakthrough, you're locked into our lowest rate of just $49 per bottle, saving more than anybody else. And if this vision restoring formula doesn't work for you, then you simply ask for a refund and lose nothing. No matter what happens, you truly only have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Plus, when you pick the best amount of our vision rebuilding formula today, I'm also going to add 2 bonus books worth $109 absolutely free. So today only, when you invest for 3 or 6 months supply of this vision rebuilding breakthrough, you'll also receive a free copy of The Ageless Brain, Proven at Home Strategies for Better Memory and a Sharper Mind at any age. As you know, your vision and your brain go hand in hand. And with this breakthrough formula, you're going to be re-strengthening the key neurotransmitters that are responsible for ensuring you see the outside world crystal clear. So in other words, you're already going to be doing something wonderful for your brain today. And we figured, why stop there? Especially when my nephew Ben is a world-renowned expert on the brain. So I had him write up Ageless Brain. And in addition to the proven at-home strategies for better memory and a sharper mind that you'll find inside, when you read through Ageless Brain, you'll also discover the peculiar brain yoga trick that eliminates forgetfulness and helps you remember new faces, names, and important details with ease. The shocking everyday household item that can give your memory a jolt and keep your mind crystal clear. You'll never guess what it is. The ancient Appalachian trail mix recipe that Harvard scientists are saying could drastically improve memory and focus in those over 55 years old. And why walking backwards once per day could be better than supplements when it comes to boosting your brain's ability to perform. You'll find all that and more inside this ebook, and it's yours free when you order the discounted 3 or 6 month package. And then the second free book I'll be sharing with you today is really special. It's called Pin Drop Hearing: How to Rapidly and Naturally Improve Your Hearing in Just 7 Days. Inside, you'll discover not just a step-by-step, 1-week plan for drastically improving your hearing, but also why the color of your earwax can predict whether or not you're going to lose your hearing entirely. This bizarre hummingbird-inspired technique that can rapidly and naturally improve your hearing in just 1 week. The strange once daily ear massage that anyone can use to silence ear ringing and amplify their hearing. Both guides are yours free when you buy the 3-pack or 6-pack on sale, and you'll get access to them immediately. But that's not all, because when you order the discounted 3-month or 6-month package, you'll also get free shipping, which is an additional savings of $9.95. But both the special multiple bottle discount and the free shipping are limited. When we run out of this vision rebuilding breakthrough, it could take us months to make a new batch. So choose the 6-bottle package or any other package below this video right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smartest and most important investments you'll ever make to restore and protect your eyesight for years to come. So given everything you've just been told, I am sure you must be really excited to try this formula for yourself. All you have to do to claim your discount is simply click on the button below now to order the 6-month supply or whichever amount makes the most sense to you. After you've selected your package, you'll then be taken to our secure order page, where you can fill out your shipping and payment information. We use the same professional-grade 256-bit encryption technology as places like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart, so you know your information is safe with us. Once you hit enter, you'll land on our confirmation page, which will carefully explain exactly what you can expect with your order. Now, I must warn you, sometimes we experience temporary out of stocks. Obviously, we do our best to avoid this, but that's just the simple reality of trying to get a product like this out to so many people, placing big orders all at once. You don't have to worry though, because as long as you're watching this video right now and don't see any out of stock icons popping up anywhere, then we still have bottles of this vision rebuilding breakthrough left in stock. But I really wanted to bring this to your attention because I can't say for sure when we might run out of the stock next. And I don't ever want you to be in that unfortunate situation where you fall in love with this vision rebuilding breakthrough, only to come back to this page a month later to find out that it's completely sold out. So that's just one last reason why our 6-month option is our most popular. Because not only will you get the full benefits of this vision rebuilding breakthrough, but you will also have plenty of time to place a follow-up order if you choose to. So go ahead and order the 6-month supply, or whatever makes the most sense to you. Now we're at that point where it's time to make a decision. You've already seen all the science behind the breakthrough solution and heard the remarkable stories of people like you who have truly transformed their lives in just seconds a day. I stand fully behind this product, and I've done everything I can to make ordering today one of the easiest, most logical decisions you'll ever make. No matter which size order you place, you're 100% protected by our 60-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Ultimately, though, it's up to you to make a decision. You're the only one who can take that first step in the direction of a radically new life. If for any reason you still feel a little on the fence, then I have to ask you, please don't let fear or doubt hold you back, because you're 100% safe and protected. And when you really think about it, what's the alternative? I can only imagine all the failed solutions you've tried in the past that left you feeling frustrated, anxious, and hopeless. I know, because I'm sure I've tried every single one of them too. But now you have something completely different right in front of you. You could leave this page right now after hearing everything I've shared, but what will change? You'll just end up back on that hamster wheel of disappointments. The irritation of going to the eye doctor and finding out that they need to change your prescription glasses yet again because your eyesight is getting worse and worse. Feeling scared as the dark spots in your field of vision continue to spread, or the yellow fog covering your eyes becomes thicker. The way it affects your balance, your ability to see any objects that aren't in front of you. You and I both know that's no way to live. This is why I'm now reaching out my hand to offer you a way out. You don't even have to say yes. All you have to say is maybe. You could be just moments away from feeling like you've got a new lease on life. A life where you enjoy crystal clear vision, where you see every detail of every moment perfectly, and where you live each day feeling like you're in control. All of that and more could be just on the other side of this page. And while whatever you decide is entirely up to you, I truly do hope that you make the right choice to regain your eyesight for good. All you have to do to get started is just choose your package from right below now. And I'll see you on the other side to help you continue your journey. Regardless of your choice, I want to thank you personally for taking the time to watch this presentation. I wish you all the health and happiness in the world. Still there? Look, I know I just covered a lot, so let me go ahead and answer some of the most common questions I get. How does this vision rebuilding breakthrough work again? So as I mentioned, our major breakthrough is filled with special compounds that strengthen special neurotransmitters in your brain called glutamate receptors. Glutamate receptors play the crucial role of sending signals from your eyes to the part of your brain that turns them into images. And due to our modern lifestyle, many of us are underusing our glutamate receptors and have been for decades, which means fewer and fewer signals are making it to our brain, which leads to the world becoming blurrier or dark spots appearing, or a yellow fog clouding your field of vision. The special compounds inside our formula stop all of that from happening by replenishing and rebuilding those receptors so that you once again see every detail of the world like you were meant to. Who should take this vision rebuilding breakthrough? Well, if you had to ask me that question 10 years ago, I would have said just people with declining vision. But now, with all the new research showing that more and more Americans are suffering from declining eyesight, and that number gets worse each year, my suggestion is that anyone who is ever remotely worried about their vision should get it. What happens after I click on the button below? Once you choose your package below, you'll go to our 100% secure checkout page. Then, just enter your payment information and place your order. And don't worry, there's no automatic billing or anything like that. After that, you'll receive your order of this vision rebuilding breakthrough in the next 5 to 7 business days in a discreet package, which means you're less than a week away from beginning to restore your vision and regaining the freedom that comes from not depending on contacts or glasses. What if it doesn't work for me? That's easy. Remember, this vision rebuilding breakthrough comes with a 100% money back guarantee. That means that when you order this vision rebuilding breakthrough today, you have a full 60 days to decide if it's right for you. If you're like the thousands of other men and women who have used this advanced eyesight restoring formula already, then you will be thrilled with the results. But if for any reason you're not, simply call or email our customer service team and we'll refund the investment. How long will this vision rebuilding breakthrough be available? That's a tough one. My goal is to make a huge impact by helping to restore the vision of folks across the country. But because most people in the eye care industry aren't too happy with me and my breakthrough, it's uncertain how much longer this breakthrough will be available. Plus, with all the issues our world is facing right now, the economy isn't what it used to be. Supply chains are affected and ingredients are a little harder to come by. That's why it's important you get this vision rebuilding breakthrough today, especially since it comes with a 60-day 100% money back guarantee, which means there's zero risk to you. It's also why you really should stock up. All right, I want to try this vision rebuilding breakthrough. Now what? That's the easy part. Just click one of the buttons below and choose your package. Remember, you can get started and save over 70% by choosing our most popular 6-bottle package. Just fill out your details on the next page to complete your order, and this vision rebuilding formula will be in your hands within the next 5 to 7 business days. Plus, there's no risk because of my ironclad 60-day guarantee. This presentation is now ending, and I want to thank you for sticking with me all the way until the end. Go ahead and choose your package now. Use this vision rebuilding breakthrough as directed for at least 30 days. Then reach out and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.